Hey, some updates on our situation here in South Carolina, and we got some Fangs in your face, safe feeding techniques, and some safe handling techniques coming up for y'all.
Fangs in your face. Subscribe now.
Hey y'all, what's up, Venom Squad? Hey, sorry we have not been on this lately on YouTube. We have been entrenched in the fight of our lives here right now. But I want to personally thank everybody that's been supporting us. I mean, it means the world to us, especially now. We need all the help we can get. I mean, not only financially, but morally. And I mean, let me tell you something. We have not slept. We have not ate. We have just been in this battle non-stop. I mean, I was lucky enough to sleep like 4 hours straight last night. So this is life-altering and life-changing for us. And I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us. Thank you so much. It means the world to us. And we're not run off yet, okay? We're still here, and we're going to keep trying to bring you guys content and keep doing what we do until we legally cannot do it no more. And then we will move on and have to relocate. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Okay, just a quick update on what's going on. Now, of course, this new amendment went through and it was voted on. It was tacked onto a bill that had nothing to do with it. Very backdoor, sneaky. But it got voted to a non-concur. Now, a non-concur means that it's going to get taken into a special conference meeting, okay, made up of 6 legislators. June 15th is like the day that they're pushing for this vote again. If they don't come to the table with us to come up with some reasonable legislation, some reasonable license system and regulations, it's still an outright ban. It will totally stop me from opening my serpentarium and from me doing what I do, breeding my animals that go to other facilities and labs. It will stop all that. They don't care if you're not AZA accredited, which we will never be AZA accredited. And it will stop all of that, okay? It will stop keepers from being able to breed animals, to do anything. It's going to let you keep them until they die. And you pay them $100 every 3 years. Can't sell them, can't breed them, can't do nothing. No new permits after, what's the date, Dina?
September 1st.
After September 1st to anybody. It's basically a little grandfather clause to kill you slowly. That's what it is. They're going to kill us slowly and get what they want either way. And this was all brought on, let me just educate you on something here. This was all brought on by fear-mongering, okay? By the actions of one person, okay, that was doing things the wrong way, and that neighborhood found out, and DNR went in, and to tell you the truth, he was already a convicted felon, and he probably had more illegal weapons at his residency than he had snakes. But the snakes is what made the news. And this is all getting pushed by a newspaper out of Columbia and blew it out of proportion and said South Carolina is the main hub for venomous getting transferred around all of the country and the black market. And it's fear-mongering. They're grabbing power by fear-mongering, okay? And there's a grain of truth in everything. And the grain of truth in this is, yes, there was a big problem with our native turtles here. And that's been addressed. And I heard this directly from a senator. He said, you know what brought all this on, right? Is this situation that happened here. And the people in this neighborhood where this took place with this one individual, they got so scared and they got together and got a hold of the governor, and the governor got so wound up about it. It's like, this needs to be ended now, and there needs to be an emergency order in place. And I'm going to tell you, it's been rushed, it's been done wrong, it's unconstitutional, it's unjust, not only unfair, it's not correct. It wasn't done a correct way. So this all got put into the spot we're in now. Okay, where it's going to a special conference committee made up of 6 people from the legislation process to discuss this and come up with a new bill to present on the 15th to be voted on. So hopefully we get a chance as a community to address this and be part of, which we don't know when, because they have not made it privy when this conference is going to happen. So we need to be able to sit in and weigh in as a community. If we're not allowed that, hopefully they'll take something on text from us. Please consider this. Either way it goes to vote on June 15th. June 15th is end game, okay? If it's the process that they got in place now, that they get what they want now, it's done. It's done for us here. We don't know what we're going to do. I mean, our only option will be is to pick up and relocate somewhere that is open-minded and willing to let us open up our facility to educate the public, willing to let us breed our animals to supply labs, to supply other institutions, to supply to AZA zoos. I mean, do you realize that AZA zoos have a system called, okay, we can buy animals from people, they just need to be an approved vendor, which my partner is. He's a fucking approved vendor for AZA zoos. He's sold them animals in the past, but they don't want us to keep them and breed them. But they'll buy it from us if we got something they want. And let me tell you, the AZA zoos were going like this when they thought we were going to get an outright come and take your animals and seize them. They were going like this. Well, people need to make room because we're going to have a big influx of animals. And there was somebody did a post on Facebook in their inner circle in one of their community things that, you know, I'm going to head this up and I'll delegate what goes where. And no, you ain't getting our animals. I mean, that's how crooked this is. Okay? We need some level-headed people in the legislative process to listen to us. Here are our ideas and our complaints. I mean, we're not asking to run wide open with venomous snakes in South Carolina. We truly believe this. This team of guys I've got together, we believe that this needs a license. This needs a licensing system where you got to have a license. This needs regulation. This needs to be addressed. And that's no joke. It really does. To separate the men from the boys. But there's so many different things worded wrong in their last proposal on this. It wasn't a proposal. It was like, this is what it is. But it got put to non-concur, that it cuts out even institutions like mine that we have not had an opportunity to even start business. We would have been open to the public if COVID didn't hit. That set us back. So now we may have to cut and move again and start all over again. I mean, this is my investment. This is all I own, is my animals. It's taken us 3 years to rebuild this. And this will kill us, outright kill us. I mean, financially, mentally, physically, but we're going to do what we got to do. We are not quitting. I am in this fight. I'm going to stay in this fight until the bell rings. So what I'm asking out of everybody, please get on usark.org. Dina, you can put all the links in here, right, baby?
Absolutely.
And please follow the new South Carolina alerts. Okay, follow the new alerts. And they're going to post the names of these senators and congressmen that are on this special conference committee, along with the mass emails to all the other people that will be voting on this bill on the 15th. We need to flood them with our concerns. Follow the prompts from USARK. They lay it out for you. Okay? We need this shot down so it can get sponsored as a new bill next year and include us as a community and say a senator to sponsor it, to do it the right way. Because if we let it go this way, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be an outright travesty. It needs to get shut down so it's done the right way. in the proper manner with time where we can sit down at the table, we can reach across the table and say, what about this? Okay, nobody agrees with that, let's try this process. I mean, to have it done correctly. If it's rushed like this, it's going to be totally unfair, totally wrong, and unjust. This is not about just the venomous keepers, the venomous community. If you think that that's what it is and this won't affect you as a reptile keeper or in the state that you're in, you're wrong. Because this will set a precedence. This will set a precedence across the frickin' country. Nobody's safe right now. Nobody is safe because this will set the precedence to change it all. To where in the United States, it will be federal law where nobody can have a reptile that is not indigenous to the United States. You cannot have a reptile that is exotic in the United States. That's what's going to be the end fucking game. Please, everybody, hear my war cry. We need to fight this. Respond to U.S. ARC's prompts and do it. Make the calls. Do the emails. We got to get on this. This is our last chance in this fight. This is the last round. Don't back off the throttle now. Jump in and get involved. Be part of this. Okay, guys. We did some feeding, okay, and I explain my procedure of feeding pit vipers safely, and we're going to take this on other species as long as we can, but safe handling, you know, it might be time to go back to square one. All right, I mean, I'm going to start this out with pit vipers, okay, and the way I move things around, and there are other techniques that are good, okay, just because the way I do it, I'm not saying that that's the way it should be and that's the only way to do it. I'm saying this is how I do it safely, and if you can adopt my techniques, it's great, or look at some other really good handlers' techniques and adopt their technique. But I want to show you the right way to put an animal in a can, in the container, and out of it, okay? And I've got a big rattlesnake in here, okay? And I don't get my head or nothing over this thing, never, right? I will go ahead and burp my lid, open it up, and I use this, okay, as my shield. And you'll notice, if you watch my videos, you'll see me do this 100 times. I peek over this to see where the animal's at, okay? And a lot of times you'll see me doing this. You'll see me spinning this can. And you're probably thinking, man, he's OCD, spinning that can around. No, I'm getting that snake's head in a position where I can put my hook and get everything where I need it. Now, mind you, I'm putting my hands in front of this because I see where this animal's at. I know I'm at a safe distance, but use this as your shield to look over and locate where his head's at, okay? Then it's safe to go ahead and set this down. You want to keep things out of your main area that you don't want to trip over, okay? And that's part of your facility, guys. I mean, of course, you need a nice tight room that's snake proof. You know, every cage that's feasible to get a lock on it, locking cages, you know, you try to run a tight ship. Make sure you got a clear work area, okay, between you and the cage and the animal, so you're not tripping over something. And number one is everybody's safety around you, okay? Everybody, even out of this damn room, safety around you. Your safety, then the animal safety. Those are the guidelines you go by. Okay, so you'll see me do this a lot. And I'll spin this can around and I'll get that sucker where I want him, where I can get a hook under him and lift him, okay? And now this is the way I do it. See, he's already starting to come up on me. All right, I am in the habit of dropping him over the side where his head is away from me, okay? Where I can reach over and get my hand on his tail, okay? See that? It's safe for me to put my hand over here because his head is nowhere near me. And then I can kick this can back out of the way, okay, and lift this animal, set him down, reposition my hook, and have him safely, okay? Have him correct where I've got a long enough hook where I can keep him out, away from me. I mean, I'm out of the danger zone right there, okay? I'm gonna set this guy down, and now picking an animal up, hooking an animal the right way. A lot of times if you reach into an animal and you start poking him on the side and trying to pick him up, you're going to set him into that flight mode. You're going to send him into that defensive posture. I use a hook where I'll always try to start at his head, let him crawl over it, okay? Let him crawl over it. It's real simple. Instead of trying to scoop him, I always run it out in front of him, okay? I run it over him, let him crawl over it, okay? And then I'll pick that animal up in a fashion where I can get that tail a safe distance away from me, like right there, okay? Then I can reposition my hook and lift, okay? Simple, very simple process. And that's long enough to keep him out away from me. I'm out of the danger zone, okay? And putting an animal back in a can, okay? Putting an animal in a can. This is another thing you'll see me do a lot of. And I've seen a lot of keepers fudge this, and it's the wrong way to do it. You get him in a can, okay? You get his head in the can, and he's gonna crawl up and wanna keep coming in a direction outside of this, because he don't wanna go in that can. You get him started, and then go ahead, reposition your hook here. You get that tail there, and set him down in there gently, okay? Keeping your hands, everything away from there. Using your tools to move that animal correctly. And then you can go ahead on, use your shield again, okay? To see where he's at before you go ahead and lift it. Then you can go ahead and clip it down, and it's done safely. You're giving yourself space and time, and it's keeping your damn hands out of the way. Having the right tools and using them the right way. I've seen too many guys hook a snake and it's dangling there. A big snake, you need to support that weight. And it's dangling there this far away from him. This far away from him. You need to control that animal where he's going. You need to control the situation. And you got to be skilled enough and have enough confidence in your handling ability to do this calmly and safely. And the number one rule, protect everybody that's around you, outside your damn rooms, protect yourself, then the animal. We're going to move on and do a true viper, a really big heavy-bodied viper next. Okay guys, big heavy-bodied vipers, okay? True vipers, all your African bitis. And we'll do one later on a lapids. You know, we'll get Diesel out. We've got a few other cobras, and we'll do one on a lapids, because that's a tricky one. And the thing is with this is getting somebody to teach you these procedures and these methods, and finding a good mentor. Because the whole thing of using your tools is knowing how to use your tools correctly, making them work for you. I've got a big puff adder in here. I just cleaned this cage about 15-20 minutes ago, and she needs to go back. But I'm going to show you the same process, in and out. And I do things slightly different with a really heavy-bodied snake like this. And because puff adders have that capability to strike in different directions, so they require a different handling method. I've got a big girl in here. All right. And this is a big puff adder, okay? And we do have anti-venom for a puff adder, you know? And we're not even going to get into opening that can of worms right now, but your bite protocol's in place, all that stuff needs to be in place. Now, as I'm reaching to get an animal out of here, I'm going to use a different method with this snake, okay? Instead of hanging the snake's head over, which is possible to do that, it's just easier to do this method with a big heavy-bodied viper, okay? Because you gotta let them crawl over the hook a little bit. You hear her huffing in there? All right, big girl. And what you want to do is, I choke up on their back end a little bit, and I just kind of reverse it. I hang their tail over a little bit, and I let their head stay inside this time, okay? Then I reach down and get that weight, okay? Keeping my hand out of the way, and then supporting her weight and being able to choke up on my hook, and then lift her correctly, okay? And that's, I choke up on African vipers a little closer than I would a rattlesnake, and I keep them out pretty far away from me, okay? Because they have that capability of striking in all them crazy options. I mean, they can fly anyway, okay? So I just kind of reverse it with these big ones, okay? Instead of hooking them, lifting them, and hanging them over, I kind of just hang the tail over and grab it. So it's just my personal preference. It works better with a big heavy-bodied snake like this. And the same deal with putting them in, okay? And let me tell you something. The main thing with working with reptiles is if you're jumping around nervous, scared, you shouldn't be doing this. You need the skill set to do this the right way, because if I'm moving in the wrong direction and I set that snake into a defensive posture, you're going to incite defensive behavior. And then you're putting yourself in harm's way to incite a bite. Now, to put a snake in the container, large-bodied African vipers, heavy-bodied venomous snakes, and same deal. I'll let them crawl over my hook instead of stabbing them in the side, okay? But I'll get that where I want him in the right position, and I'll inch my hook back a little bit and start lifting. And if I need to move that snake forward, I will, you know what I mean? And I try to hook them bottom third, okay? Let them crawl over it. If you got to scoot it back some, hook them bottom third and lift that tail up, okay, where I can go ahead and support that heavy weight and then slide my hook forward and lift them. And notice how I'm using my hook there, okay? Because this is a heavy-bodied animal. See how I'm letting that animal rest on that hook? And if need be, I can set it down, reposition, and do it again. But I like to let them rest on the hook, like that. It's less stress on the animal, you're not hurting the animal, and it's safer for the animal and safer for you. See, then you can always reposition and start over and lift. But while I'm setting an animal in, I'll hang the head over and get my hook back here, okay? I like to have the hook way in the back so I can set that animal down, because he's gonna naturally hook himself there and support his body weight, okay? Like this, where I can set him in there gently with my hands safely out of the way. They're nowhere in the hot zone, okay? Use your hook to do everything. Use your hook to do everything. I use to hold lids down, to hold doors shut, you know? But just some tips, guys, on safe handling, hooking, and moving some of these large venomous snakes. We've got some awesome fangs in your face coming, and I explained some safe feeding techniques to get them animals to actually react in a predatory response, so the bite goes in the right place. So I mean, it's interesting and it's fun. There are some awesome fang shots in this, okay? But Dina just made me aware of this, and this is why I'm saying this the other day, and this pissed me off so badly. And this is what's wrong with YouTube and the way the comment section is. Somebody left a comment stating that I've left you 2 comments and you just hit the like, or you just hearted them and didn't respond to me. And if you're gonna keep on ignoring me, I'm just gonna report your videos. I mean, really. Talk about trolls and talk about, you know, honestly, if you know what we're engaged in and what we're fighting for our lives right now. And so if we don't get to the comments right away or be able to respond to you, it's not ignoring you. Please, we're not ignoring you. We love our supporters and we try to answer everybody. But, you know, YouTube has boxes now that you check. If it's, you know, we do educational stuff and we do a live feeding once in a while. YouTube's got a box that you can check that, you know, that yes, there is light profanity in this video thing. So, you know, if you want to report my videos for being educational, go ahead. Because that's the kind of behavior that I will not stand for. I mean, if just keep ignoring me, I'll report your videos. I mean, come on, really? I mean,
they've got a box we can check for heavy profanity. So
yeah,
if you want to keep going.
I mean, if I want to go bleep, 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 I can. But, you know, honestly, so guys, I love you and I thank you for your support. But to the person that left that comment, you know what? I would love to meet you face to face and tell you what I think about you. The fangs in your face, this is tremendous camera work, and it came out just spectacular. And you get to see the whole process of the fangs and the bite, the strike sequence, and I explain my process on how I make that happen. okay, and to do it safely. So check it out, guys. Have fun, and here comes Fangs in your face. All right, guys, for our first animal today, we're gonna feed one of our Durissuses here. It's a Crotalus Durissus dryanis. And, oh, there you go. Oh, that was a nice hit. Very nice. Sometimes they'll hit it again, but normally that first envenomation is basically all they need. With that venom being highly neurotoxic, it has the capability to impact the prey very quickly. So unless the snake is very defensive, he would hit it more than once. But that was a nice straight on shot. So we're going to let this animal enjoy its meal and move on and feed a few more. I've moved all my Durissus into the feeding rack today so we can get everybody fed, and we can put them all back together in the breeding colony. Okay, we have another. This is a very large adult Crotalus Durissus, one of my females, and something's caught her attention back there in the back of the rack. Probably the other snake moving around. Here we go. Here we go. Line it up, little girl. Oh, yes. And I don't know what happened there. I may have lost that shot, but we will see. Camera turned off. That's a beautiful specimen right there. That is also another Crotalus Durissus dryanis, which is your South American species of rattlesnake. Okay, y'all. We have yet another animal here, and this animal is lining up towards my light. He's picking up a heat signature off the light on him, and we need him to avert that over to this very hot rat. There we go. There you go, buddy. There's the target. There you go. There's the hit. And this is a male. You can hear the other ones buzzing in back there in the tub. And let's bump him back just a little bit. And when y'all see me bump an animal back like this, now an animal will move back out of the way. The snake will bump back because, you know, in nature what's going to happen is if they envenomate a prey item, and that prey item still has the capability of causing an injury to the snake. So the snake will move backwards and get out of the way so it doesn't suffer a bite from an injured rodent. And rodents are pretty formidable. Let me tell you something. They got some big teeth and they can cause serious injury to a snake. So that's a self-preservation move there. And you'll see me bump them back and just get them back out of the way so I can step back and close this drawer with my hook safely. Okay, y'all, this is yet another species of neotropical rattlesnake. This is a Crotalus Durissus cumanensis. And this snake is a firecracker, okay? And this one's got a very strong feeding response, and it often will bite the prey item 2 or 3 times in one strike sequence. Oh, that was one good hit. And a lot of times, guys, if you watch my Fangs in Your Face videos, you'll see me bounce these rats around like this here. And I'll bump them back like this. And that's giving me some time to get this prey item in there and the snake to back up out of the way. But literally, that's what would happen naturally. That rat will be bouncing around after it's been envenomated until the venom subdues it. So we try to make this simulation as close as possible to its natural process. But what a beautiful animal. What a medically significant animal also. A lot of new studies being done with Durissus venom. Okay guys, we're going to feed a couple of the culminatus. This is Crotalus culminatus, your Middle American rattlesnake. And you can see this animal is already on that heat source and coming in. Oh, very nice. And she's going to hang on. And a lot of times you'll see the difference. They'll bite and release or bite and hang on. And the culminatus tend to hang on more than the Durissus do. And we've got her in the rack, and I have to separate her out from her main exhibit where she's with a male to feed them, to keep them from fighting over food, of course. But this animal, we always have to put her in the rack, put a water bowl in there, and let her sit in there for a day till she go ahead and calms down and takes a feed. So that's why you'll see a water bowl only in with this animal, because she'll be in there for 24 hours, then we'll put her back on exhibit. But she is just a beautiful specimen. Okay, for our final Durissus of the day, but not the final feeding of the day, y'all. Don't run off. We got more coming. This is another male, Crotalus Durissus. And let's see if we can line this boy up for a nice straight-on strike. I'm going to tap this prey at him on the ground so he picks up some vibrations. And this is a pure predatory strike. And here he comes. You'll notice him inching in. He's looking for the heat source. There we go. There was a beautifully executed strike. And notice he's not up buzzing, he's not defensive. This is pure predatory strike. There you go, buddy. There's your prize. And that's the key to feeding these things, is you want it to be pure predatory. Because as soon as you turn this situation into a defensive situation for this animal, for this snake, that's when you get the repeated strikes. I mean, sometimes they'll repeated strike and hit the same prey item twice, but you'll get repeated strikes going everywhere, and the whole key to this is keeping that animal in that predatory mode. You want to incite his feeding behavior, and you try to simulate it as natural as possible. Very nice. Okay guys, we're going to move over and feed some of our culminatus that are in the breeding racks here. Now, what's interesting about this animal, well, let's get this strike on point first before I start running my mouth. Let me stay on task. Oh! Whoa! Ho, 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 ho. Oh, she hit that one hard. And right on the money. And there's my technique to bump her back out of the way. And let's just set that down for her right there. Very nice. What's interesting about this certain species of rattlesnake, this Crotalus culminatus, formerly Crotalus simus culminatus, formerly Crotalus doristus culminatus, is that this animal's venom, with all its different proteins and enzymes, you know, myotoxins, cryotoxins, neurotoxins definitely present, that it's been discovered that this snake's venom actually can vary from locale to locale within the same species. And also that this snake's venom, it literally goes through an ontogenic change. Like the venom from a baby may hold a higher percentage of metalloproteins in it other than the adults, and also may hold some different components than the adults. So its venom is changing literally throughout the life stages. I mean, throughout the stages of its life, it's changing to a different component. Now, I believe that this change that goes on from baby to adult has got something to do with prey items. I mean, literally, what this animal is consuming as a youngster or as a sub-adult compared to what it's consuming as a full-blown adult. So, interesting stuff. This is the stuff that I love studying. This is the stuff that I learn from these animals on their feeding behaviors and what they do. It's just, this is what drives me. This is what I love. And I've learned so much watching these animals in these slow-mo strikes on their delivery system. It's just crazy. But that was a cool one. Okay, and here we have yet another Crotalus culminatus, Middle American rattlesnake. And y'all, this might look a little different. I am trying different settings on the filming lights because I literally have to let them cool down in between these feedings so the snake does not divert its attention to the light. That's creating some heat. So, oh man, oh, that was quick. That was fast. All right, little girl, there you go. She is a little blazer. So bear with us, y'all. I'm trying to figure out this lighting thing, but that was a very nice strike sequence. Okay, guys, unfortunately, I cannot lift the box on this male culminatus because the males are a little more defensive than the females and they don't take that crap. So we have to alert him on the outside here. He needs to start feeling some vibration out here to know that this is a prey item coming in and not, you know, this is something that he needs to do instead of something that he's got to do. If it was defensive, he would automatically start buzzing and carrying on. Oh, there we go. There you go, Bubba. That was a beautiful hit. We're going to set that right at the entrance for him. So it's all about cueing that animal up the correct way. If you notice, now if I'd have lifted that box and had it where we could see him in this video, he'd immediately started buzzing and he'd have been striking at anything moving around. But this way, it's pure predatory. He got cued up with some vibration sent into him. He can smell the rodent in the air. And as soon as it got in range of his hole where he was sitting in wait, he picked up the heat source off that rat and delivered a predatory strike. And that's the correct way to feed these pit vipers. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hey, if you're new to the channel, we're hoping to still be doing this here in a minute. I mean, if not, I'm sure there'll probably be a lull in our videos, but if you're new, hit that V logo thing and subscribe now. And don't forget, there's going to be links below this to usark.org. Follow the South Carolina alerts, and please help us in this fight. And come on back and check us out at Venom Central. This is Willie. We're checking out. Later.